All right, I've got a great setup between my gear and my ring. I've applied the gear mechanism. I've run it around and done an analysis and created a trace curve. But 6 points isn't that exciting. I might want to see what happens when I have more points happening on a spirograph. So I want to have more petals. I want to know how to set that up. I've got a great resource. So Spirographic Art has calculating the number of points in a spirograph pattern. Okay? So how do you predict how many petals a spirograph pattern will have? When we had 120 and 20, it was pretty easy to know that you had to run the 20 tooth gear around 160, or 6 times to get 120 total teeth. Okay? But there is a formula, and it's the least common multiple. It's the least common multiple of the number of teeth on the ring and the number of teeth on the wheel. Okay? So in a spreadsheet, use LCM RW over W. We can't build this into the relations in Creo, but we can use an Excel sheet to do it. So here's an Excel sheet. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and say number of teeth on the ring and number of teeth on the gear. Okay. So right now it's 120 and 20. Okay. And we want to calculate number of petals. It's going to equal least common multiple of the wheel and the ring, oops, divided by the wheel or the gear. And we get 6. So the funny thing is, if I change it one number, 21, 40, if I said 30, it should be 4. That should make sense. But if I say 31, you get 120. It has to go all the way around, like a huge amount. I think I had 34 as one of my gear teeth, so that's 60. That's a nice one. 15, 8, 91. That was a good one. 40 teeth. That sounds like a good opportunity. All right, so this is something that I really want to keep and have access to. So I'm going to file, I'm going to save as, I'm going to save it into the same folder as everything else I'm working on here. Petal, calc. Okay. I'm going to exit out of the mechanism mode. And I'm going to do an analysis. This is really cool. It's an Excel analysis. Before I do that, though, I'm going to go back into the model, into the parameters or relations. And just to make my life a little bit easier, I'm going to create ring teeth equals, so that, a comment on that, open this up, expand it out. Number of teeth of the ring. And gear teeth. So that's just going to make it easier for me to see what's what. Okay. So ring teeth and gear teeth. Okay. We're going to do analysis. That's an Excel analysis. Now load a file. Notice that it hides under the expanded Excel options. All right. I'm going to add a parameter. Gear teeth. Ring teeth isn't showing up. We'll talk about that in a second. And I'm going to pick the cell that it's going to output to. So the number of teeth in the gear is going to output to this cell here, and done select. Since the ring teeth aren't really updating, they're staying at 120, we could probably leave it like this. The cell we're going to pull from Excel, we're going to choose output as the pedal. Compute. Should be 6, and we're going to save it. We're going to add a feature. Pedal. This one. Okay, let's see how we're doing. Relations. All right, pedals in here. We got out this value of 6 from pedal. I'm going to make one more thing a little bit easier here. And I'm going to say pedals equals, and add this to relations. There we go. And just really quick before we move on, the reason that the number of teeth here didn't show up is because it was an integer. So I could actually do I can actually change ring teeth. Ring teeth right now is also a an integer at the upper level, but if I do some math to it, there's ring teeth now. That's a real number. I get rid of the math, I update it, and now it's still a real number. So I should have been able to pass ring teeth if it was a real number and not an integer. Pedals equal to here. All right, let's open the spur gear. This is the 20 tooth. This isn't the one I want. So cancel that. I think I probably already have it open. I do. Go into the family table, add a new row, 21 tooth. Let's make it half as wide. Shouldn't matter. Control G. Back to the assembly. Let's replace the 20 tooth with the 21 tooth. Notice it moved. Control G. Brought it back, but it's actually still gonna, it doesn't actually walk correctly because it's still using that 10 to 20 or 110 to 20 ratio. All right, so let's go back to the mechanism. Let's go back to the gears. And in the properties, we're going to type in ring teeth and gear teeth. And update it. Unfortunately, this isn't living as a relation, which is really unfortunate. Anytime you change the teeth, you do need to come back here into the gear pair and change that. Okay. We don't need to update the servo because we're still going to spin this at 2 seconds per revolution, but we will update the analysis. Okay. And 25 frames per second, but the end time is going to have to be pedals times 2. All right, hold on. Cancel. Control G. All right, so always request. Okay. Pedals is 40. So pedals, let's go back. Location, mechanism, analysis. Pedals times 2. Got 80, so this is going to run a while. And we should have a 40 pedaled trace curve. Assembly. Pick a point. Analysis. There we go. Looks great. And that's how you update for different Spirograph trace curves.